friends. Welcome to Sky House Herbs Podcast. I'm Ashley Ellenboss, a clinical herbalist, and in this space, I share my knowledge and experience with plant medicine to help you on your own journey of healing and transformation. Join me in exploring the ancient wisdom of plant spirit medicine and how it can be used to heal the body, mind, and spirit. We'll talk to experts in the field and share stories from people who've been transformed by powerful plant allies. New episodes are released each Monday, so please subscribe. And now, let's explore this mystical world of plant medicine together. Hey everyone, welcome in. Today we'll be exploring my recent trip to the Redwoods and some beautiful insights and downloads that I hope to share with you that were really powerful experiences. And this is a little bit of an unstructured talk, so I'm just going to be kind of rolling with it. But what I really wanted to share were the things and the insights and the downloads that came through me that I wanted to move through me to you. So this trip was a long time coming. I've been wanting to return to the Redwoods for many years. I first visited the Redwoods in 97 before I went away to college. With some friends. We did a cross-country trip. Some friends were moving to Portland. So we had 3 carloads of people driving from Maryland all the way across to Portland. And after we dropped off our friends in Portland, we drove down through the Redwoods to San Francisco. So that was my first pass through the Redwoods. The second time was after my sophomore year in college. I decided to take a semester break because I was studying environmental restoration and I just wasn't happy with it. I was really not feeling good about just cleaning up the earth after other people had really destroyed it. So I knew there was a change of path, but I didn't know what it was. So I took a semester off. I bought a big Ford Econoline van used, and me and 2 of my girlfriends, we got a dog and we packed it up. And for 3 months, we traveled around the United States, and we spent about 2 weeks in Arcata, California, visiting with a friend of mine from high school. And then we spent some time camping in the Redwoods. So that was my second time. And ever since that second time, I knew I wanted to go back. So this last trip came through because I grabbed some lemon balm from our garden and I told all of my, it was me and Adam and Summer in Virginia. And I was like, we just need to take a moment to rest. I think lemon balm has something to say. So I gave them each a leaf of lemon balm, and I told everyone to lay down and close their eyes and see what lemon balm had to say. And for me, it was simple. It was like, you need to slow down. And for my kids, they each had something. And Adam said, I saw a redwood tree and it said that I needed to come see it. So I think we should go to the Redwoods. I was like, hallelujah. So, because I had been planting that seed for years, being like, maybe this year we can go to the Redwoods, maybe this year. So Lemon Balm popped in and gave him the download. And I was like, all right, it's game on. So we went for 5 days. We stayed in Trinidad, which is beautiful. It's this coastal town right between a number of the different redwood forests. And it's just the beaches are beautiful and these big rocks and all these pines. And we stayed there for 4 nights, and then we camped for 1 night in the Redwood National Forest. And the downloads that I got, I mean, the first thing I think is just the majesty of the trees. And I just couldn't help but recall this Mary Oliver poem where she ends it by saying, we remember our place in the family among things, or like we remember our place in the family of things. And I just felt like that as soon as I started seeing these huge trees, that I'm small, I'm this small person, and these trees are thousands of years old, and my place in the family of things, it's an important one. You can be small and important. And so I just was feeling my sacred smallness and also my little bit of importance in that I've always been a speaker of the plants. And I just felt even more strongly that my advocacy for plants and planting more plants and eating more plants is good work. It's important work, and really opening people's minds to the consciousness of plants, what an important task that is in a world where we are so separated from nature so often and confined to walls and to online spaces, which are great for many things like this, but also they can sometimes detract us from the power of being in nature. So that was one thing that I really felt strongly. I was like, wow, the work of plants is powerful. And as much as each of us can be an advocate for the plants, um, we need to do that now. It's really important because the redwoods are being cut down. The forest fires are ripping through California and Canada and so many other old growth forests that we really need to speak up for the protection of the land. The other thing that was a really cool story that happened when we were in the second day of hiking through the redwoods is that there was this big open vista where you could see really far, and you could see some of these really huge old growth redwoods, and there were these huge dinosaur ferns. It just felt like you were in a prehistoric era. But this particular place along this ridge where you could see out over the forest, my 4-year-old daughter Summer said, "Look, it's a portal." And I looked out and I was like, it is a portal because, my daughter knows black holes and portals. She's really interested in all of this stuff because she was living with hippie parents, but she's living with an astrologer and herbalist parent. So she's really, open to these ideas. And so as I was kind of looking through her eyes as seeing this moment as a portal, it's like, yeah, a portal is something that brings you from one world into another world. And as we stood there on this ridge and we looked out, it was a portal. It was an entrance into another world. And I just had this insight after she said that, which is, you know, our minds can be altered in so many different ways. And when we look out on beautiful things in nature, we can be transformed into another world. And we don't necessarily need a mind altering substance to enter into a different level of consciousness. And it was almost like just her saying that switched my consciousness into a different perspective and into a different level of awareness of who I am, what this space is, what it means to be here in this space, and the intelligence of all of this really old nature, and my ability to take a minute and be influenced by it, to let myself be really opened for the portal to actually work both ways. Like I'm entering, I'm leaving this world and entering into another world. And the world that's there is entering into me. And so there's this sort of two-way street that I experienced in that moment. I was like, wow, this is powerful. And my 4-year-old opened the gate. So that was really beautiful. And it just made me think that, yeah, like so many places in nature can be a portal. When we just take a walk in the woods or even on a path or even in a park in the city, and we just stop and we just gaze out, can we alter our consciousness and go into another world, another state for just a moment and give ourselves that gift? Because when we get into ordinary linear consciousness and we never give ourselves a chance to get out, it takes something away from our human experience. Our human experience is multidimensional. And so I just loved that insight in that moment. Another thing that happened that was really magical was a sequence of events that led me to the person who made this hat, which, by the way, I know it's super cool. And also to the same woman who made art that we found. So here's how that story went. So we were sitting in this little cafe called the Eatery in Trinidad, and there was this artwork all over the walls in this little booth where we were sitting. And I think it was actually this piece that was a larger size of the print that was up there. And my husband and I were looking at it. We were like, that is beautiful. And we were like, that person must know astrology. And so Adam asked the waitress, he goes, "Do you know who makes that art there?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, it's art by Toad. She's an astrologer and she does tarot stuff. And yeah, she lives here and teaches classes." And we were like, "Oh my gosh, that's really cool." So Adam looked up in his phone, art by, he's like, "I think I follow her on Instagram." So he looked her up, and sure enough, he was following her and she was following him. And he's like, I know her from somewhere." So he was like, she lives here and she's into astrology and tarot, and she's studied with one of the other Hellenistic teachers that my husband's friends with. And so it was just like all these synchronicities, and we just loved the artwork. And we had been saying to ourselves, like, we've been looking for some new art for our home as we're expanding our spiritual devotional practices. And so he reached out to her and said, "Hey, I'm Adam. I follow you. I know you noticed you follow me. I'm an astrologer too, and we're in the area. Would you like to meet up sometime?" And so we actually drove to Arcata from Trinidad, and we went to her studio and we got to meet her. And she's also into the Grateful Dead, which I'm into the Grateful Dead. And so there are all these connections. And so it was just this like very magical experience. So we went to our studio, we brought our girls, and my older daughter, Virginia, she wants to be an artist when she grows up. I mean, she is an artist now. And so she got to meet this other artist, and she was working on this huge piece. And I just love it's her all of Toe's work. It's very it's very detailed, and these prints are huge. Their originals are huge. These are just smaller, but there's so much detail and patterns. And like this one too, I mean, it's perfect, just such symmetrical artwork. And so she got some pages down, some paper down for the girls, and gave them markers. And she was talking about what it means to be an artist and how she's following her dreams of teaching tarot and teaching astrology. And she's going to be going on the road this summer, selling her work and doing her artwork at music festivals, because she's like, she really likes to be in the festival zone, like listening to the music and being in that environment while she paints. It's like, of course, that's super cool. So yeah, so anyway, we donated and got some of her artwork, and then she was so kind to give me this hat. And she just said, if she's like, maybe if you ever wear this hat and anyone comments on it, you could just give them my business card. And so she gave me like a huge stack of her business cards, which are also beautiful art. You probably can't see it because of the glare, but just gorgeous, gorgeous business cards. And I'm going to leave you all of her information, because you can buy her this hat. You can buy all these prints in different sizes on her website, and she ships them. But she was like, if you wear this hat, maybe you'll wear this hat, and if anyone comments on it, you could give them a business card. So that next day, I was back at the eatery, and this woman said, "I love that hat." And I said, my friend made it. And I gave her a card, and she goes, "I've been looking for a hat just like that for so long. I'm definitely going to get one." And I was like, my friend's an amazing artist. And so it was like, it was just, I think what that whole experience did, not only did it connect me with a beautiful new friend, is that it also reminded me of the magic of following things you're drawn towards. Like when there's something beautiful that you're attracted to, that like your heart is like pulled by, to just trust that and to move forward and to reach out to the people who inspire your heart in some way, and to be open to magic. And it was kind of like once that moment happened, when Adam reached out to her and said, "We love your artwork. We'd love to maybe meet up with you." It was like all of these connections started happening. And then he met up with another of his astrology students from when he first started teaching classes in New York City. And we had lunch with her. And it was like just all of these little like popcorn magical events started happening. And I feel like there was something about the Redwoods and their ability to be steady and to be open. And here's a really cool fact that I think is relevant, is that redwood trees, despite being some of the tallest trees in the world, have the most shallow roots of any tree. And so you'd think, well, how can a tree so tall not have deep roots to hold it down? Well, the reason is because what the redwoods do is, as soon as the tiny seedling sprouts, it starts to interweave its roots with the trees around it. And then those trees and all the trees their roots are interwoven. They're shallow. They have shallow roots, but they're connected. So the entire network of roots throughout the redwood forests, in some way, they're directly or indirectly connected to the other trees in the forest. And I just felt like that image was exactly what it felt like. It kind of felt like the mycelial network of connections between my roots and other people's roots. All of these root connections were really being amplified. And it was like it felt natural to follow those curiosities. So we did, and we were just so blown open by the warm welcome and by the inspirations that we received by following those trails. So I guess in summary, the three takeaways would be the first one, which is knowing your place among things, which is what is your own gift? What do you have to share? What is the sacred small piece that you've been given, your purpose that is connected to the purpose of all living things? The second thing is nature as a portal to altered states. And so, how do we make ourselves available to have these expansive, mind blowing experiences just by stepping outside and giving our consciousness a chance to really open and shift? And then the third is being open to magic, being open to the connections that are already there, but giving ourselves permission to act on them, to make a step forward, to reach out, to connect, to make community. And in that way, everyone's lives are enriched. And I'll tell you, my daughter, both of them actually, who came to meet Toad with us, were like, they both now want to be artists because they were so inspired by her energy and the craftsmanship and the beauty and the way she is and the way she works. So yeah, that was all three of those are, I think, hopefully applicable to you and give you some ways of thinking about your life this week and how you can take these downloads of connection, of purpose, and of portals into your day and week ahead. So thanks all for watching. Please subscribe if you liked this. Sign up for notifications. I will leave information on how to get in contact and how to look up Art by Toad. You can follow her on Instagram, Art by Toad, and then her website, which is beautiful, and all of her work. I'll leave a link in the description. And if you can't find it, just reach out to me at info@skyhouseherbs.com and I will send it to you directly. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.